I'm the man in the mine, hands raw, face black and crossing the line. Yeah, I try, yeah, I fall, yeah, I try every time. I'm the man in the mine. I'm the man in the mine.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Welcome everybody to our next Minerside Chat with Brian and myself. We got quite a show for you today. We're going to be talking Market Pulse, talk about Jane Street, what happened with Zach XBT, and talk a little bit more about what's going on with ORE nowadays. And we also have a demo from Cubs with his auto miner RefinORE. So it's going to be quite a jam-packed show. Excited to jump right into it.
Absolutely. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. How are y'all guys doing? How you doing, Trey? How you doing, Jess?
Doing well. Good to be here.
Very good. So, guys, I think the first thing we have to absolutely talk about the Jane Street shock. What do y'all think about that the whole Jane Street thing? It blows your mind, but it doesn't. It doesn't actually blow your mind because this is crypto and it's to be expected, right? That somebody behind the scenes is maliciously pulling the curtain, I guess you could say, is playing God sometimes. I mean, any thoughts on that? That's such a crazy situation.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I guess it's to be expected. We've known for years that there's a cabal, quote unquote, that's pulling the strings at all times in regards to market sentiment and market activity. But just to get some actual proof on paper in regards to, how they're pulling the strings and how they can cause such a collapse, such as Terra, really, I mean, it confirmed the bias and I guess you don't really want to ever actually hear what happened. You just kind of want to suspect it.
Yeah, it's quite it's quite an unusual situation. I mean, it's there, it's happening, and these people and these large groups are kind of operating with impunity. There's nobody to really police them except for individuals in our own community that are policing and then turning that over to the proper authorities when they can. So Jane Street, basically, if you hadn't heard, if you're living under a rock, I've got some posts here about the situation. So multiple sources are telling the SEC has launched a formal investigation into Jane Street over potential market manipulation and front running in equities and crypto derivatives. So what people are saying on Twitter and what I've gathered is that for months now during this downturn, Jane Street has been selling BTC at 10 o'clock here U.S. time, or maybe it's EST, and dumping Bitcoin, shorting it elsewhere, doing other options on Bitcoin, and really making the entire space suffer. And it goes further than that. It goes so much further than that. Apparently, they were also behind the Terra Luna collapse. Literally, the trigger that caused the major collapse, caused people to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And not everybody was rich off Luna, of course. There's even just, guys like me and you that got hurt, they got destroyed by this action. So these guys, man, it's a complicated story here. I'm not going to go through it all, but man, there's just a lot to it, and there's lots of things you can read on X about Jane Street and how they pulled this off. A lot of it's over my head because these are some complex strategies, lots of hiding their footprints and doing things that are definitely not legal in the traditional sense. But because it's crypto, we get the the Jane Streets and all the other and the Binance cartel and so forth operating in the shadows. But there's hope. There's hope that either this administration, U.S. wise, or the next, will pass something to help corral and pursue these kind of guys internationally. Because I do hate to see crypto, the manipulation. It just never ends. And somebody's got to put their foot down. And maybe it'll be Trump and his SWAT team that went after Maduro, going after people. I don't know, but they need to be at least scared, right? Somebody needs to be scared of doing wrong things in crypto, scared that they're going to get caught and prosecuted wherever they hide in the world. I think that's the next big step we need to get out of this rut where normies are too scared to invest in us, and even Wall Street is hesitant to do anything outside of the big coins, right? They don't want to get rugged. What would they tell their clients if they invested in some seemingly legit coin and they were rugged, right? There's so little accountability out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it stems from there was initially a trust in the fact that everything was decentralized, right? And that there were good actors creating new things in the space. And that trust got taken advantage of as soon as people realized that there was money to be made. And that's kind of where we ended up boiling up to this point where we have these shadow cabals that are controlling the prices and manipulating markets, finding the most efficient way to essentially arbitrage trade on people's emotions and trust. So unfortunately, we are at the part of the cycle in regards to crypto where, as much as I would love it, everything to be libertarian and everything be decentralized, there does have to be some accountability to stop these bad actors from draining liquidity and extracting from people.
Yeah. It was fun at first, guys. It was really fun. If out there and you're running a scam ring, it was real fun to get rugged the first few times. But after that, it kind of got old. And now I'm starting to worry that people are avoiding the space because of it. And we don't want people to avoid the space. It's the most fair but Wild West space you can make money. I tried to sign into Coinbase to start up my perpetuals account there, and they want you to be an accredited investor, right? So if we're going to do things the formal way, to even get to that point where I could leverage something, I have to make, if I recall, over $300,000 a year for 2 years in a row and submit that information to the proper channels to get accredited investor status. Now, how many of you are capable of doing that, right? And those opportunities are closed for most people. But crypto, of course, gives us that chance to buy the best coin, buy a fun coin like ORE, buy something with utility like ORE, and ride it up to 10x, 20x. But those opportunities are a little harder to find in the traditional space. So again, we support some regulation. I guess I could say I support some regulation, but not too much. Don't get rid of my fun stuff. So speaking of that, let's talk about Zach XBT and who polices crypto, right? Who's actually the crypto police? Zach XBT has been, I guess, the guy that seems to have been investigating all manner of crime online. Let me pull him up here, and y'all probably all familiar with Zach XBT. This guy has been in my feed for a long time. He's been out there. He's been active in tracking down scammers. He's been doing some crazy stuff. Recently, he just tracked down this guy, John DeGita, who was arrested in the Caribbean. And as a direct result of his investigation, he says. So this guy's father actually worked for a U.S. government contractor, and somehow he compromised his father's contractor assets and stole a lot of money from the U.S. Marshal Service. Jesus, could you get any more stupid? I mean, how would they not track you down, right? Like, how would this not have happened? Your dad was working for the U.S. Marshals. You got in his stuff. You stole his crypto from the U.S. Marshals as he's acting as a contractor, and you fled the country. Really?
Crazy.
Look at his face. I love his face, though. Look at that dude's face. You see it? It's just beautiful. He is smoked, and he knows it. He's toast. He's smoked. He's gone. He's a goner, and he knows it. It's got all over his face. But Zach's XBT is also not quite immune from some controversy, and we'll tie this into ORE here in a second. So Zach XBT, I just had the post up. If I did not, let me go back one more time. A recent case that he cracked, Axiom, right? There was some fishy stuff going on, and we don't quite know exactly where this all stems from, but apparently prior to revealing some funny business by Axiom Exchange, there was a market created on Polymarket, which placed bets on what Zach XBT was going to reveal. He said in a few days he's going to reveal some crime on chain. Typical behavior of Zach XBT. And he did. But this pump fund market came out, and within hours there was 23 million in bets, placing large position on that he would reveal the exchange or the actor in the space to be Axiom Exchange, right? So somehow, somewhere, either his information was compromised, and I don't want to say he was responsible for this. I'm not going to say of any, it's all speculation. But that's very odd, isn't it? That somebody keeping something secret to reveal was front ran by some other party. Who was it? Who was it in his sphere of helpers? Maybe I don't know, but you just got to wonder. Like with these poly markets coming up, and for all manner of markets, it's like going to place a bet on a boxer, right? Like if the boxer sees that he has a poly market open, that he loses, does he bet on himself or have somebody else bet on him and then throw the fight for triple the money he would have made during the match? It raises all kinds of ethical questions in the space. Major ethical questions as to what we should or should not place bets on and how those bets will affect the outcome of any particular item. Aside from the weather, mind you, we can't affect that. But if there's a race, if there's a fight, if there's some market where somebody can easily just fall over dead, in a boxing match on the third round and throw the fight and make money, or have their cousin in the Bahamas make, several million on a poly market bet, it raises lots of concerns in the space, I would say. Any thoughts on that, Mr. Fronk?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And the big thing about poly market is there's all sorts of way to create corruption, right? Not just with an investigation through Zach XBT, but in general, you can manipulate the markets and have insider information. It's just very unfortunate to see that something so pure like Zach XBT trying to clean up the crime of crypto is being now used to create a new form of crime
Yes,
where
crime on
people are,
crime.
yeah, crime on crime action, which you live long enough to become the villain, I suppose. But
It might not be him. He might be completely innocent, but someone in his sphere heard from him what he was investigating or saw what he was investigating, and then boom, the market flipped in their favor. So it's just crazy, and it kind of leads us on to our next topic. Why fairness matters in this space. Because with all the insiders, nothing's ever going to be perfectly fair. Let's be honest. There's no perfect fairness. Even on the ore mine, somebody could get lucky and get the two mother loads in a row, right? Because things happen,
Mhm.
right? So it's all random, but things happen. But ore in a market dominated by these firms, insiders, and so forth, when you're mining ore, it's as fair as we can make crypto. It's fair as can be had in this space, right? Because everybody's got a shot. Everybody commits the same soul. Everybody burns the same soul, puts it to the protocol, and places their bet. I'm going to put a little smiley here because it's really one of the last fair products that I could think of. There's a few. I was involved in a nice fair launch product, but over time things became bogged down. I think ore is the solution to a lot of this stuff. One of the many good products on the block space, of course, not the only good product, but in its niche as a provably fair store of value and a provably fair mining protocol, I think we need to get behind the products we want to see win in this space, right? If we don't commit, if we sell every little fluttery time thing the market dips, then how are we going to build up confidence in new investors for any product, much less ore, but how is any product going to survive if everybody's so flighty and there's no trust, right? So buy and hold and mine and use the products you want crypto to become. I don't use Pump Fund at all. I don't want to commit any revenue to Pump Fund. I understand Pump Fund needs to be there for those kind of people that do like that kind of product. But again, I want crypto to be more like ore. I want crypto to have novel, unique, innovative products. I don't want to put my money behind other projects which facilitate more of a gambling approach, I guess. And you can call ore gambling. Sure, yeah, I get it. It's not. But, those other products out there, I don't use them. So that's my thoughts. I don't
right.
use them. I want crypto to become more fair, more like ore. No VCs, no infesting of the product with minting tokens to insiders or people who want their pound of flesh to market the product to get. Nobody does that at ore. Ore's fair, and let's keep it that way. We're going to keep it that way. Just keep mining. Just keep mining.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about how the market is now, compared to where it was in 2016 when everybody was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and jumping in because these new technologies, these founders were really bought into their visions, really looking for a way to make things better, and to really push the crypto space forward. And that belief by itself allowed people to have some trust and share in that vision. And because of that trust, that allowed more and more buys to occur, which allowed things to avalanche. Now that we've gotten to this point in 2026, where 99% of the crypto market is not for you, but rather against you, it's shaken investor confidence to the point where you can't even hold a token for 10 seconds for some of these tokens in fear of somebody create rugging you and
Yeah.
taking everything that you put in immediately. And that really damages the psyche of the typical crypto pundit, crypto, retail person, right? Somebody who wants to jump in and invest really doesn't know where to go because there's 2 million coins created every few days or whatever on Pump Fun. There's millions and millions of coins. Last time I checked on Coin Market Cap, there was 26 million tracked. And those are just the ones that get tracked, which is crazy to think
Yeah.
about because in 2016 it was less than 20,000. So you have this huge inventory of choice. You don't know where to possibly go. You feel stupid if you bought the wrong thing at the wrong time when something else goes up for just a couple seconds. And then at the same time, you have all of these scams and rugs that are literally out to get your money rather than trying to build a product that helps holders, and tries to push the market forward. So
And people buy
I
them. People buy them.
and people are trying to make a quick buck. They don't want to buy into a vision anymore because they assume everybody's trying to rip them off. And
Yeah.
when they see something legitimate, they go, "Okay, this is too good to be true. There's something wrong there."
Yeah.
And that's what or is trying to change, I believe, is that we're trying to show people a vision of it can go back to the way it was when you have a strong founder, you have a strong community, and you have tokenomics that are actually fair and a fair launch system that can allow anybody to jump in and actually have a portion of this protocol and grow with it. And over time, build that trust and create maybe eventually a store of value. It's still an experiment at the end of the day, but you know that the people behind it are sticking by it through and through, no matter what the outcome. And so I'm hoping more and more people will be able to see that as time goes along. So that's why I'm involved with OR.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I saw Punch, right? I saw people lamenting that Punch only got to 50 million before crashing down. Right? Is this the absolute state of crypto? We have to rely on a monkey with a doll in a zoo to get a $50 million market cap and then go down to zero? Is that what crypto's all about? No.
I think that is the state of crypto today, though. Like I'll tell you guys a personal anecdote. I was in the office today, and for background, I work for a professional services firm. And this new colleague I was talking to came from McKinsey. And when I told her kind of outside of work, what are you interested in? She had said kind of like her stuff. I'd said crypto. She said, crypto? Isn't that just basically meme coins and drug trafficking and terrorism funding?
You should have just told her yes.
And
It would have been easier.
but so outside of stable coins, which I wouldn't even call, I mean, it is crypto, but it's not crypto values, right? I'm pretty sure Circle, if asked by the government, could go ahead and freeze your USDC inside your wallet
Hmm.
and make it untransferable. And so outside of stable coins, the narrative is really bad right now. But I do believe it's probably like the lowest point it's been since like 2018,
It's
2019.
pretty bad. Yeah.
But I do think that like through this, you're seeing kind of like more mature projects step up, and some kind of the veterans in the industry, guys like Coliseum, um, even the Solana Foundation, for example, are pushing really good projects. And I think obviously OR is one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I same thing. Coworkers, same idea. Oh, it's just dog coins. It's just Doge. It's just that's what they buy on Coinbase. I'm gonna get $1 million off my Dogecoin. It's just this tale as old as time at this point. But I agree with you on the sentiment. The sentiment right now is absolutely terrible. There's nobody on CT. Nobody's hyped about anything. Even the hype guys with their exchange, I don't see them screaming much about hype token. And the little pump that we just had with BTC, kind of on the back of some good news from the SEC, I believe. Don't quote me on that; it might be a different department. Even that seems to be met with pessimism, right? I think we are at the phase of disbelief, and if this is the lowest we're going to get as far as engagement, then I think ORE's been very, very solid through this downturn. This has been a brutal one. I mean, the worst downturn in sentiment wise I've seen since I've been involved in the space, I think. I mean, right after Luna was really bad, but this is right up there. I mean, it could be just as bad, if not worse. Nobody's talking, nobody's excited about any products, and very few tokens. There's no bear market runners that I see right now. But the fact that, our product that we're here for, or has held its head above water very well, is just a testament to itself. We got miners mining right now, and the chat's still active every day in the actual ORE.supply chat. We've got new miners coming into the Discord. I think we're setting ourselves up for a great run once the sentiment turns around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we could still see that despite all of the downturn and everything. I mean, Solana DApp revenue for ORE in the past 30 days, we're in the top 10. I mean, even if you go, and check around the market, it's really tough to find any dApps that are making money right now. I just saw a post from somebody earlier today that was talking about, while all this geopolitical stuff is going on, Blast Chain made -$7 in revenue in the past 24 hours. And I thought, -$7? How did they lose money on their chain?
I was there at a Blast event in Austin a few years ago at Consensus. And this is just so crazy, man. These guys raise so much money. They buy out the whole bar. They had all their team there, and they're the next big thing. They're so hot. They spent all this money on pumping the product. No doubt how much money was spent on marketing itself, but then at the end of the day, nobody uses the chain. Nobody uses it. It's so frustrating. I love to see new chains, innovative stuff launch, but then, especially in a bear market, they fall flat. I think Mega ETH is another great example. But Solana still has an active and very, very good volume on chain. It's going, it's moving, and people are excited to be here still. I feel like this is the only place in crypto people are excited to be. Ethereum's pessimistic. Charles Hodgkins and his stuff, nobody cares. Like, it's just, this is the last hope, I think, that I see in crypto right now. Every other chain that launches and makes $5 a day, it just makes me laugh. It just makes me cry, but laugh a little bit.
One thing that's interesting about this chart, really quick, is that the kind of like ratio to revenue to users. So if you look at the top, it's like trading, and then you have ORE, which is mining. And I think we have something like around 200 active miners.
Oh man,
mining concurrently.
That's nothing.
That's nothing. So like the opportunity for ORE as activity picks up is pretty incredible. And that's where there's still kind of like a lot of optimism out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That is crazy.
ORE's at its baby stages right now, if anything. I mean, I'm looking at the metrics for Monad. Remember, how much hype there was for that chain. They're at 20,000 active users, dropped from 150,000 in a matter of 3 months, and their revenue is $4,000. So,
Awful.
I mean, ORE is just this little mining protocol sitting within the Solana ecosystem, and yet is able to be a top 10 with 3 million revenue in the last 30 days. I mean, it's really remarkable, the comparison.
Yes, and once people catch on, there's no stopping this. As people start mining, people see once you kickstart ORE, just like the run to 700 or whatever we made it to 650, those kickstarts happen, and they can happen quite aggressively. So Oh, come on, gods of the mines. Just kickstart us. Let's go. But again, I recognize that it might be kind of more towards when sentiment turns around in crypto in general. Because I think when it does turn around, all the miners that have used the product and have gone, cold, probably come right back. They'll just pick it up like they were there just yesterday, mining again. It's that easy, right? It doesn't take much to start mining. And especially if you see a number go up, they're going to hop in the mines, and it's going to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or we'll reach $1,000. It will,
Well,
and you're not going to
and to that
convince me
point,
otherwise.
there's like the meme that's kind of gone around that ore is Zoomer Bitcoin. But I think similar to how boomers or older Gen X millennial allocate a percentage of their paycheck to a Bitcoin ETF, I have friends who allocate a percentage of their take-home pay to ore mining, whether it's like 100 or $200 a month, just to get access to that refinery yield.
It's got that Riz.
It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
It's
that
got that
riz.
Riz.
Dude, my mom literally just called me before this stream. She's like, "Can you help me move more Solana into my ore miner?"
That's amazing.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's right. I got to get my parents involved. I'll be going to a new workplace soon, and I'm going to get all those guys that I used to watch buy Doge. They're going to be mining ore soon. They're going to be mining ore. So I think this is a nice leeway to talk about our numbers. Our numbers. Take a look at the revenue. Let's see. So, guys, we're still doing around 70,000 a day during a bear market, a pessimistic bear market at that. And then some other loads have pushed us up to over 120,000 a few days here and there. But ultimately, right, this is going right back to the stakers. This is going back to the mother lode and the miners, right? So this is great. This is good data. And I think we're on track. We're definitely in a good spot here, especially when crypto's dead. There's nobody making money like ore. Well, very few. Obviously, that chart showed some bigger protocols. But again, TB, you're right. The ratio of miners to revenue is insane. 200 miners and this much revenue every day. Geez, man, the dam's going to break. And I'm really
Well, and that's the
curious.
thing. When it does, like the great thing that we have here, kind of in front of us, that you're showcasing here, is that the protocol is working. And whether it's at 200 miners here at $60 per ore, or at $1,000 per ore, $10,000 per ore, the protocol will keep working. And so that's the exciting part for me, is that as the price per ore increases, more and more people will want to come mine to kind of get that ore reward, and the flywheel kicks in. And so it's just a matter of moving on from this phase of early true believers into the kind of next phase of early and mid-stage adopters.
Yeah, looking at the distribution, I remember the big run up that we had to $700, right, or 650, whatever it got to. This is the 650 zone. I understand that those guys had been mining. Probably a lot of the sellers at that point that kind of brought the price back down. Those guys had been mining for a long time prior to the run. So they probably accumulated quite a bit, and we needed some distribution from there. I think we look good now. This distribution likely has the hog in it as well, so don't believe that their 51% is held by only whales. But the distribution doesn't look bad compared to some tokens I've seen. There's a lot of good things here. And once we've got all the sellers out, and I think our chart looks pretty much there, right? It's got a falling wedge, and I should have pulled it up, but the falling wedge from that 700 down to where we are now, I mean, it's going to break out soon, I believe, and the distribution is much better than when we had that first run. And I was only there, I got in at like 120, I think, prior to that run, and that was amazing. All my buddies were quite shocked at my call. I said, "Look, guys, this thing, or I don't understand it, but it's gonna pump. I can see it," and it did. Right, so I was freaking out, and I bought a good deal, and I sold almost at the top. But my idea was, I've got it. After I studied it, I'm getting back in, and I did. I got back in with that profit and have held down to the 50s, the 60s, where we are now. No big deal. And the reason I can sleep soundly at night is because the revenue's there. The revenue's there. I'll tell you, I was right before October 10th, I was losing sleep over my portfolio. I was waking up multiple times a night checking my portfolio. I was worried. I was feeling sick. I was just absolutely like wondering what the heck, I don't want to round trip this again. Something doesn't feel right. Maybe it was God telling me, wake up, sell. So I did. A few days later, after a week of this kind of restlessness, I sold everything, right? And then I discovered ore around that same time, I think, or no, slightly after. And then I just bought, and I held this one the whole way. I have not sold the ore because of the revenue. It lets me sleep soundly at night. Whereas my other tokens, absolutely did not. Absolutely did not. They pumped. They had good runs. I love you, Ina. You did good for me. I got you at like 16 cents, and you went up to like 90 cents. You did great. You're wonderful, but you're ultimately useless, Ina. Ina is just a governance token right now, and it doesn't make it revenue. So why would I hold it? Nobody else did. So why would anybody hold it if it doesn't make money, if it doesn't have staking rewards, if it doesn't do what OR does for you, right? Doesn't do anything for you. So that's just what, that's my thesis. If it doesn't make money, I don't want to have it.
Makes sense to me. And what a story.
Yeah. Now let's repeat that. I want my friends to wig out when it hits 500, and then wig out more that they missed the boat if they don't listen to me and get in 1,000. So that's on them though. It's not on me. I held my own.
Yeah, I think the important thing to reiterate: whatever the price is, the yield stays the same. And so, unlike maybe there's these outrageous yields you can get for LPing or borrow lend protocols offering some temporary incentives. With OR, the staking yield and the refinement yield should stay pretty much in bounds as kind of like price ticks up and more activity comes in, which is, I think, the most exciting part about this.
Yeah, absolutely. You mine while it's cheap. So I know that, people are asking questions, in the community, hey, there's not been many updates. And they want to know what's going on with OR. I mean, OR at its core is a protocol that doesn't need anybody at the helm. The community could run it just like how Bitcoin runs. You can have a community of developers who are building and building upon OR. The core protocol is intact, and there's not much else that needs to be done. And once it moves over to governance, it'll be that way forever. But I know that people want to hear from HHC, and I know we have him here as a speaker. So, Mr. HHC, is your mic working?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, I had some audio issues before. Don't know exactly what was going on, but I think it's fixed now. So hopefully this doesn't cut out on me.
No, it sounds like everything's good on our end here. So, I know you've been working. I know there's not a lot that you can explain in deep details on what you've been working on, but I guess could you just kind of give us a status update on where you're at with OR and what your thoughts are for 2026 with OR?
Yeah, for sure. There's two main things, I guess, where my focus has been. So I think number one, right, is just there isn't a whole lot of active protocol development work needed on OR right now. We set out to build a provably fair mining protocol. Obviously, initially starting with the proof of work system and going through iterations on that until we finally kind of landed on the current gamified mining system that would support the store value, idea on Solana. So you have native DeFi baked in, you have the privacy protocols, you have self-custody, you have low transaction fees and high speed, all of that with the fixed supply and known emission schedule. And so we went through all the hard work to build that protocol, and now it's out there and running. And when I look forward, I think of what OR needs to get to that next level. It's not really consisting of a lot of technical work, I would say, as much as it requires more kind of marketing and growth work. And for a variety of reasons, I think Regolith Labs, the US-based C Corp entity that primarily did a lot of the protocol development on the OR protocol, is not the right entity to do that marketing work. for a number of reasons. Some that are legal, some not. But and neither am like, I think right now, like I am sort of a bottleneck on marketing, right? It's like like I have the levers to get the message out there, but like it's not really my skill set, sort of. Like it's not what I wake up and think about, is like optimizing eyeballs. But there are people that do have that skill set. And so one of the things we've sort of been exploring is like the potential to set up an ORE foundation of sorts, that would be an appropriate kind of legal entity where that could hire people and get the marketing message out there.
Nice.
And where we could hire people that essentially do have that skill set, and that would be able to take over the socials, for example, and could be funded by a portion of the admin fee, and could like schedule these events and organize things at like Breakpoint and stuff like that.
Oh, please.
That
Send
would
me.
be able to drive. Yeah, that would be able to drive this message a lot further than I currently am able to in my current position. So a lot of the work there, right, is like it's partly legal, and then it's partly staffing of like who are the right people, and what is the right structure for this thing.
Mhm.
And so that's partly what's kind of going on behind the scenes, is working through some of those details there, and there's still a lot more to work out that I think we'll figure out over the coming weeks, but that's definitely, I think, maybe one of the reveals, I guess, that maybe has not been so public, that I feel maybe is a good time to share it here.
Yeah, thank you. That's a major development, because we understand the legal aspects of some things of crypto are still there, and you need to build something like a foundation, like the Solana Foundation, like the Lithium Foundation. All these chains have their own foundation, right? All these products have their own foundation, and that's how you can funnel actors who have the capability as contractors to start marketing, to start using that skill set. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that I on the last project I had, the leader was trying to do everything all by himself, and it just didn't work out, right? It's very hard. You're not only the dev, but you can't also have your hand in every single thing to 100% capacity. It's just not possible, right? Because I want you to work on this, I want you to build on this, and hire the guys that are good at marketing, sure. And foundation sounds like the next logical step.
Yeah, I think it'll just be a much better vehicle, and hopefully staffed better for this kind of work. Yeah, at the moment it's just it's hard to see like how to do this out of the Regolith Labs entity. Yeah, and there'll be a relationship that we need to set up between Regolith Labs and the foundation, such that we are a and I say we as like a contributor of an employee at Regolith Labs, like that we are contributors to the ORE protocol. Sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think Starship.
Okay, maybe he had the same issue I had before.
Yeah.
Because it actually happened to me on the last Minerside Chat I was on, where like after 45 minutes or so, I just couldn't hear anyone. So I don't know if there's some sort of Discord issue or what, but I had to quit my browser and then log back into Discord, and that fixed it for me today.
Oh, weird. Gotcha. No, I'm back. For some reason, my internet decided to kind of cut out. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. No worries. I'm not sure actually where I was at, but I mean, in general, it's just between, yeah. But I mean, in order for ORE to succeed, right, as a store of value, like it needs to grow beyond this like for-profit Regolith Labs entity, and it needs to become like a self-sustaining protocol in its own right. And I think part of the reason, like, or part of doing that is helping highlight these like third-party mining clients, like RefinORE and MineMore and others that we're trying to highlight through these Minerside chats, that you have a variety of mining clients out there that are all front end interfaces to the protocol, and I think there are even some changes we can make to the protocol itself to help those third party clients build more sustainable businesses. For example, maybe through a portion of the admin fee. There's still some details to be worked out there, but I think that would do a lot to sort of help incentivize development of more mining clients and sort of grow the number of front-end interfaces out there, so that the ore supply website is not like the only through which the protocol can be accessed. And yeah, I mean, ideally, like Regolith Labs is just one of like many contributors to the protocol. And if other people, other developers have changes that they want to propose to make to the protocol, that there's like a channel to do that. So these are all things that problems the foundation is going to need to handle and to solve. And so I think a lot of the work right now is figuring out like how to set that up correctly.
Are you related to Bob Ross? Because you are painting a beautiful picture for growth. Happy little trees, happy little clouds. I mean, that's beyond my expectations of what I wanted to hear today. Like, we didn't have any idea what alpha you'd be able to share, but that's pretty important. That's a big step. And it's happening during a quiet part of the market where you can still accumulate your ore for low prices, where you can still get ahead of the game, where you can still be early to this product. And, when this all erupts, you'll have a lot of ore, and other people will be mining for the first time, and God bless them. Thank you for mining. But being early here is the key. Being here when the quiet part is the key. And apparently HHC is building behind the scenes, doing what needs to be done. This sounds like stuff that has to be done to unlock the growth potential of ore.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want it done, you need to have it done correctly. So, you can't, do it half-assed. I don't know a better way to say it. But if you're going to do a marketing push, it needs to be done, with a full push. Setting up a foundation is a fantastic way to do that, to make sure that you have committed resources, to making sure that we are able to spread the message to every part of the market and every party out there that could be interested in the product. HHC, we do have a question in the chat. With marketing being introduced, does that include having or be part of Solana-based events and spaces to help push exposure?
Yeah, definitely. And I think part of the point of setting up the foundation is that like that wouldn't even be my call, right? It's like ideally we would staff the foundation with someone who can make that call independently and use the budget available to them to like host those events and spaces. We want to start with people that like want to go do those events and can take on the organization and the logistics of doing that. Because I think part of the marketing problem right now is like that kind of stuff is just not my skill set. So I need to like remove myself as the bottleneck from that like someone can, with the quote unquote authority of ore, go out and like organize an ore event.
That's awesome. The official ore jacket, the ore badge, the ore glasses, the hard hat. And you like walk in, kick open the doors of the hotel, and rent out the ballroom for the ore soiree. I mean, it all sounds beautiful. I can't wait. Can't wait to go to my first ore soiree.
Is the first job that we're going to get in the foundation a HHC doppelganger, so that you can send out to every Solana event?
Yeah, why not? Just we need an impersonator.
Yeah, we should find someone. Yeah,
that's awesome. But yeah, I can't wait to have the first soiree in Neo Cyber Tokyo. So I look forward to it. I can't wait for this foundation, man. It's great. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that with us for sure. For sure. Mr. Fronk, if there's any other questions you want to highlight, please do so. We're hitting 45 here, and I think we might need a few minutes for Mr. Just Cubs. What do you think?
Absolutely, and it's okay if we run a little long.
Yeah.
We're on our own schedule here. Nobody dictates us. So, HHC, before we move along, is there anything else that you want to highlight, let the audience know in regards to ORE? Anything else that they should look forward to, or how are you doing? Nobody asks you. Nobody asks HHC how's he doing.
Yeah.
How we're doing.
I'm doing good. Yeah, I know I said I've been in a sort of manic build mood because there's like technical stuff I'm working on. So much has changed. I could ramble on for a long time. I don't want to push Cubs over time, but yeah, I mean, some things like on my mind, right? To like, I think the world that we live in today is just so radically different than it was 3 months ago. And in particular, I guess what I mean by that is what's changed is the agentic engineering, the agentic software engineering in particular. I think, like the defining characteristic of software for the past 30 years has been that like the marginal cost of a unit of software is effectively zero. So like you have this upfront cost to develop some application, some sort of like CapEx investment, but then the marginal cost of shipping a unit of that software to like the 101st person is like effectively zero. As the same cost of shipping is like 1,000 people or 10,000 people. It doesn't cost you anymore per unit to ship that app to another user. But I think now, right, it's like what we're seeing is that even the upfront cost of that software development is itself also going to zero in the limit. And so that has like radical implications on, I think, like the business landscape more broadly, but especially also as a startup and an entrepreneur, and even just like a software developer, right? Is like the premium on software developers is accordingly getting repriced. And so I think this kind of development will have a ton of like second and third order implications, but one of the like near term things I see happening is that, or just pressures I feel, I guess, are like, I think companies are going to get pushed in one of two directions, maybe in both directions at the same time. Like, and the first is towards like distribution. Of like distribution matters more than ever because there's essentially no like development mode to most products, to the vast majority of products. And so that's like an attention optimization problem, like an eyeball optimization problem. And I think, we will see like a lot more businesses going that way where like you have undifferentiated products, but you can still differentiate on like whether or not you're able to get in front of the customer. And so if you have distribution channels to your customers or to the agents that your customers are using, then you can still sell software. But also everyone has access to those same sort of marketing tools to like create content and optimize the content. So it's a very competitive like push. It's competing on distribution is still very competitive. And then the other, and so in parts like that is part of my driving reason, or part of the reasoning around setting up the ORE Foundation, right? Is that like where this protocol needs to go from here is attract a lot more attention, and so we need to find the right people to do that and staff the organization accordingly. Because any sort of protocol development work or feature we add, right, it's like the cost for some competitor protocol to add that feature is effectively zero. There isn't really any software you can write that like no one else can write. And then add on top of that, we're like open source too. So it's
right.
Reputation though is important.
Even if we were closed source, it'd be easy to copy, but it's
Copycats always have a
when it's
reputation
open source,
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. They can do it. They can clone it.
So that's like one direction I see companies getting pushed is like in the distribution direction, and then the second direction I see startups getting pushed is like towards almost like towards atoms, you could say, like towards hard problems, like difficult problems that are not easily resolved. And so I think as far as like when it comes to Regolith, like there's, you know, I have investors in Regolith, and like I have responsibilities there, and so like we are doing fine from a financial perspective right now, but like, you know, we ideally would like to create more products, and like I have ideas for products I'd like to create. And I think the ability to kind of like innovate and explore hard problems, I feel a greater freedom now to do that. I guess particularly with the agentic software engineering, like the software part of these problems has become trivial. And now the more interesting part is like, I don't know, almost like physics and electronics. And there is a particular problem that I've been thinking about for about a year now, that ironically enough, like I think it's particular technology that's like has been known about for many decades, but has never been commercialized for a number of reasons. And I think ironically, like the crypto mining industry is almost like the ideal market to commercialize this technology. And so there's still like a lot of technical unknowns that need to be resolved before I can, you know, give like a big reveal about any of this stuff. But I guess suffice to say, like, if I had to summarize what's going on, is like there's a very hard kind of like electronics computing problem that I've been really diving into the last few weeks, and I'm working through like, I mean, my desk is full of like textbooks and a fat stack of academic papers and some breadboards, and I have like I don't know, 100 SPICE circuit simulations running on my computer right now, and like like trying to build a business thesis for like, is this a viable, the right time, I guess, to commercialize this technology. And if I can conclude that like it is, then I think that will, you know, I'll make a statement about like, you know, what we're building at that time. But we're still kind of, I'm in this phase where we're like validating if this is a viable product, and spending a lot of time doing that. So yeah, I know that's kind of vague and probably doesn't give anyone any details, but there is a hard technical problem that's like, I think would be really, really cool to solve, and has like some adjacent, you know, relationship on OR itself, and in the
Cold
Bitcoin
fusion.
mining industry as well.
Must be cold fusion. He's developing a cure for cold fusion.
I was thinking it's an ore like Iron Man suit that he's building, and we're finally gonna be able to fly around.
Must
and
be
mine at the
real,
same
man.
time.
Must be real. Cold fusion with ore. That's what we're going. You every soul you put, cold fuses. I can't say it.
Yeah.
I'm too dumb to say it.
I guess to offer a little more clarity, I won't dive into the technical details, but we are doing like essentially ASIC development. Like there's a like I'd like to get a test chip printed out by like Q2 of this year. That's what I'm kind of targeting. There's like these shuttle timeframes you got to hit a certain deadline by, and so going through a certain test design right now. I've never done ASIC development before, but it's a learning curve, a learning experience. And,
wow, you're a
it's been a
talented
lot
man.
of fun. So.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
And I know he can't divulge details, but I can tell you, I listened to him for about an hour, I believe last week, talk about this, and it's really stellar. The idea that he has, and the potential feasibility of it really would change things for ASIC miners. So it's going to be very interesting if he's able to pull this off, and it also does benefit OR.
That's crazy.
If this does work.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
it. Release it. Print the board. Oh my gosh, that's pretty awesome. That's very ambitious, and I can't wait to hear more. To be honest, that's pretty fun. It ties
So-
into ore of cold fusion.
Yeah, cold fusion is going to be built into ore mining. It's going to be
Perfect.
amazing.
World peace. Gosh, what can't HHC do? What can't he do? I don't know. Don't know.
Market.
Marketing, yeah, he can't do marketing. He's got big brain for something else. He's got to work on the important things. We all have our own
Exactly.
skill set, right? We all have our own. I can watch anime for hours, and that's where I excel. All right, guys.
Everyone's got their niche, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you, HHC, and please stick around if you wish to. Of course, I think it's time we invite Mr. Just Cubs up to speak, so we can explore RefinORE.
Is it RefinORE or RefinORE? That's how what I've always wondered first.
I always pronounce it RefinORE.
Okay, cool.
Honestly, Tim made the brand up, and I kind of just tagged along with the brand. So I just, in my head, it's RefinORE. So hopefully that's right.
Yeah, I thought it was really clever. Oh, I said RefinORE as well.
Oh, perfect. I'm just changing around so just taking some people off the stream so we can see the screen a little better. They're still here, Mr. Hardhat Chad and Trey Buckingham, but just
Yeah,
kind of
and feel
minimize
free to chime in at any point. I mean, it doesn't just have to be Brian and Cubs talking. So I think we're going to have an interesting demo here going over a product that honestly, if you were here for the first Minerside Chat, we saw a very interesting product with MineMore. This product is same, but different. It has a lot of features that kind of stand out a little differently than MineMore. I think it's gone in a different direction, and I don't think that these guys were looking at each other's products when they were making them. So
Yeah, this looks very different. And
It's
before we start, I just want to say anybody who's building on ORE, feel free to contact us here in the Discord or on X and show us your product. We have no favoritism. We want to show the entire ecosystem of ORE on these streams. So just wanted to point that out for sure. So,
Yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
Jess, what are we looking at here?
Yep. So thanks for having me up here, guys. So I see you put one Solana in. So this is the main mining page, right? So there's a little chat bubble there you can click on that can open the chat actually as well. And it'll kind of show everything on the screen at once. So this is the chat that is integrated with the regular ORE supply and other ecosystems within ORE. So we're all chatting in the same spot.
Oh, nice.
I know Roberto got kind of famous in the chat. So Roberto is my OpenClaw. He's my AI agent. He's not very intelligent at times, but other times he is pretty intelligent. So take what he says with a grain of salt always.
No, he's true here. He says, yeah, Discord and X Spaces, Cubs might throw me in there to talk about RefinORE if he's feeling lazy. Man, he's on Roberto.
He's got a little personality, doesn't he?
He sure does. This might be Roberto. Might not be Cubs actually. So.
Oh wow!
So we don't know who we're
You're a
speaking
synth. You're a synth, just like Fallout. Fallout was real. I'm worried.
Yep.
Hold me, Fronk. Please.
Yep. Oh yeah. So, how do you want to go through this? The way I was thinking about it is kind of walk you through as if you're a brand new user. Is that
absolutely.
Is that a good way to go through?
I only now when I got to automine.refinore.com, I was met with a little pop-up that asked me how I wanted to basically fund the wallet, and I chose to send one SOL from my address, but it looks like there was credit card integration as well. So that part was very simple. I hope I didn't break anything by doing that already, but I didn't want to get stuck with a transaction from my ledger, for example, sending SOL. So I pre-populated the wallet with one SOL. I close that window, and here I am. So what happens next? What do I want to do if I want to get started? Tell me what you would do.
Yeah, so what we designed really is we made it very very flexible to any strategy on how you want to mine ore, right? So how I mine ore may be different than how you want to mine ore, versus how a brand new user who doesn't know what ore is, might want to come in and just get started with mining, a very simple strategy, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I did was kind of like started the very basic, like how do you just get ore to mine, and then get into a little bit more advanced strategies as well. So down to the bottom left, you see the quick mine, right? So this is just how a user would start mining. Right when they land on the page, you could literally click start and it would mine right now. It would do 0.1 ore on 5 tiles.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll pause there. Any questions so far?
No. But I do see multiple different multiple different options for what I'm mining with.
Correct. Yep.
So
Yeah,
USDC.
so USDC, we support OR. You can mine with Store itself or Seeker as well, because RefinORE is also a mobile app on the Seeker dApp Store.
Yes. Okay.
So what's going on behind the scenes here is if you...
Alrighty, go ahead, Cubs.
All right, so I also have an account here. So basically how it works, we have an API program, right? So like a lot of websites, there's a way you can get an API key if you go into settings. And a lot of this is very like dev heavy, right? But I'm just going to tell you how I made it kind of pretty easy for devs, or for people that aren't devs, to try it. You go into your API keys, you click on API key. Once you create a new key, it's going to give you a bunch of letters and numbers, right? Kind of like a wallet address or like a private key. You're just going to copy that and you're going to paste it into your OpenClaw. Okay. I've already done it so that I don't show it on the screen, because I don't want to show you guys all. It would literally give you guys access then to my RefinORE account. Not good. Not happening. So I did it before the stream here, right? And this is my Telegram message open with an OpenClaw. So if you're not familiar with what OpenClaw is an AI agent that you can talk to on Telegram, but it essentially has access to do anything on any website or anything on a computer, basically, right? There's other AI agents out there, not just OpenClaw, but that's what we're going to use to demo this. And then the other thing you have to do is there's API docs, documents, right? So all you have to do is, you would just copy and paste it, copy in the link to the API docs, paste it into your OpenClaw or agent, and you basically do what I did. I said, hey, download OR Miner skills, save the API that I gave you, and then use it, right? And then what he does is he goes and he sets it up, he downloads it, notes the API key, finds my wallet, my account, login, what's my balance at. It's basically connected now to your RefinORE account at this point. So I'm going to pause there because it's kind of complicated. Any questions so far from you guys?
No, it is complicated, but what you're talking about is the skills.md file. So there is if you ask Claude, if you install Claude and ask him, can you find the or.supply skills file? He'll probably find that file for you, won't he?
He absolutely will. Correct. Yep.
Yeah, and that's how he learns new things like this. So once he gets the skills file from his skills repository, of which now this is belongs, he will then be able to pull up this functionality that you're showing on screen, and he'll ask for your API key, of course, because he's a Telegram bot. But is that correct so far?
100%. Thank you for explaining it way easier. I mean, I'm a dev, so yeah, that was much better explained.
Yeah, I've gone through this myself. Of course, mine's not working right now, but it's all too interesting, and it's not too hard to learn, because I think one thing, if you want to try Claude and you want him to mine for you, you want him to do crypto of any type, you could just tell him what you want, and he'll actually mostly figure it out. But in this case, you'd have to look for OR miner skills, and he can look at the repository.
Yep, literally just say OR miner, and he will find it. It's actually put in the official OpenClaw repository, like index in their repository. So, so I'm going to say mine. Let's start a mining session. Mine OR using my strategy named this, which I copied in. So remember, we looked at strategies earlier. I'm not sure if my screen's very small. It might be. But in advanced, I had a strategy. I created a strategy earlier. And so I'm going to tell my OpenClaw to start mining. Start mining. Of course, on demos, sometimes things go wrong, but I'm hoping that they don't. I ran out of Claude Code credits earlier, so I'm using a different model right now, unfortunately.
It looks like Roberto is typing, so.
Roberto is typing, doing something. Yep.
So let me ask you while we're waiting on that. So the Claude bot, does it have any additional functions outside of the RefinORE functionality? Is there anything like it can do that's special to it? Or is it just the fact that, hey, I can have this guy that I talk to just do stuff?
It's essentially the latter. We've just given it the platform. He just started mining, right? So no hands, Ma. I didn't touch it. He started mining. Yeah, no. So it is the latter, right? You can talk to an AI agent, but what that enables is, like I said earlier, I could tell Roberto, go to orestats.com, go to minemore.com, go to oresupply.com, like find anything about good stats or if I'm profitable or not, or anything about my strategy that I want, and then I can tell it to, hey, go build me a strategy, and we've enabled it then to build a strategy and kick off mining on its own, right, based on whatever you ask it. So yes, it is just a glorified way of asking like an AI agent. But the difference between like asking ChatGPT or something like OpenClaw is that OpenClaw can actually go and mine ore for you.
That's sick,
Okay.
man. I'm glad you built the skills file. And again, if anybody is curious about installing Claude or doing this automated AI mining, it is super easy. I'm not a dev. I'm not a dev, but just opening your command prompt and typing a simple install Claude, whatever, npm, whatever's the code, it automatically unrolls itself. It asks for your API key, which you need from Anthropic. So you do have to pay for that subscription. You just tell it to get a new API key. And then after that, you're like, your weapon's free. You tell it to, hey, get me the ore skills file, and I want to start mining ore. And it knows, guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. It knows what you're talking about, and it knows how to fix things if it's not working by itself, as long as you give it permissions. That's been my experience with Claude. Now, mine broke today, of course it did, but in general, like, I'm shocked that it can create things and build things and problem solve itself. It's like Chat GPT on steroids. Like, and it will deploy stuff just like Cubs is showing us here. It's absolutely nuts. So, and it's not hard to do. That's the thing. If you're interested in this, I'm sure you can reach out to Jess Cubs, or even ask me. I could tell you what to do in the very most basic terms, and Claude will do it. Not financial advice.
Yep. Yeah, no, I just want to piggyback on that. I'm super happy to help anybody set up anything related to AI agents or open claws or Claude Code or anything like that. It's a big passion of mine, and like Hard Hat Chad was saying earlier, it's really changed like everything in the entire engineering industry in the last like 3 months, not even, right? So I was previously I started as a community manager for Tensor, working on the Vector app with the Tensor team. And about, I think it was like July, this AI stuff started getting really good. AI agent coding, right? Started getting really good to the point where I was actually then promoted to an engineer with the Tensor team, with alongside like the very chattest engineers I've ever worked with in my entire career, in my entire life, because of AI, right? And so I just want to like kind of like expand on his point that like everything that's coming out right now, everybody should be learning, and I'm happy to teach anybody anything that they want to know. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, guys.
Sick. So that's cool. You've shown us so far, to recap, you've shown us doing your basic deposit. We have started mining with one-click mining, basically, which is a feature I've wanted to kind of expand, even on the main page of ore.supply. Or we had the advanced functionality. And if you're a super advanced user, you can get Roberto. I mean, well, not Roberto's your bot, but you can get a Claude bot to run the ore skills MD file with just a few simple commands, and you're on RefinORE mining.
When you run out of Sol, you can deposit more from Coinbase. So that's built in. If you need to onboard or on ramp any fiat, you could do that. If you want to send transactions privately, we have the encryption, and we also have staking as well. I'm not going to go into those features, but those are all things you have on any of the OR websites. So
Yeah, you
but
can do it all
here.
from this one spot.
Yep. So
The product is super nice, and I can't believe this has been vibe coded into existence. That is super cool as well. And I love the terminal lines going up and down. If I may suggest skins, have you ever seen the movie Aliens?
it's been a long time.
I love the green terminal screens that they have on those movies. So that would be my only wish list item. It's not a mandatory, but if you can make it go as all the information flows on the screen, that would be really cool. But with my luck, after I do that, an alien would burst out of my closet. So let's maybe not do that. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I love what I see here. I love that the community keeps building tools like this. It's just nonstop. There's so many products that we're going to showcase on the show, and I can't wait to see them all. But I'm blown away by your your Roberto. Dang, Roberto.
He gets out of hand sometimes. I got to keep him in line. But
Oh,
thank you
man.
guys for keeping him in line in the chat. So.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the product? Is anything coming up or any changes coming to RefinORE?
So I am committed to continuously keep improving and developing the next things that do come up, the next trends, the next cool features. So if anybody has any ideas that they want to suggest, we're always able to build them pretty quickly. I can vibe code them up. And then I'm gonna stay on top of like any new features that people want. I don't want to over engineer things, so nothing crazy coming up along in the pipelines that are like pressing. But yeah, if you have any feature suggestions, let me know. I'm happy to build them.
Nice. Well, thank you for showing us RefinORE. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate the builders in the space that are building up the ecosystem around ORE.
Absolutely. Very, very cool product. And like I said, very different than MineMore. It's kind of like you have this big dichotomy in styles. And the fact that, you had two different teams that took the same challenge and just built it in a completely different way. And I bet you, anybody else who walks up and tries to develop something for ORE, they could build something that they love to see, all the features they want to see. And that tool might be useful for a bunch of people to use. So I was really excited about the fact that AJC said maybe we'll make it so it's easier for people to build and maintain a business, building products on ORE. I really hope that, jumpstarts some more building so we have more products to showcase.
Yeah, absolutely. The ecosystem will grow. The ecosystem must grow. It must. And yeah, I got nothing, man. This was really good stuff, Jess Cubs.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'll expand. Like I think the ecosystem grows. Like the more we can build, that makes it easier for like anybody to be onboarded, right? And I think that we're all headed in that direction. Like with the Privy login on the ORE supply site, or we have that on our site too, or just like things like being able to deposit with credit cards or Apple Pay, and then just like this enables us to really have like get the message out there. Like you were saying, you could tell your dad and your mom to start mining, or I got my buddy coming over to my house, and I showed him one day how to mine ore, and now he's always begging me, "Hey, can I get some more soul? I'll give you cash so that I can mine some more ore." Just little things like that. These products that we're all developing are able to kind of get the word out there and start getting everybody in. So let's keep going.
Nice, absolutely. Keep it going.
Mr. TB, do you have any closing remarks? You've been awful quiet, and we'd like to hear some more from you.
No. Cubs, thanks for joining and kind of showcasing RefinORE. Brian, Starship, thanks for having me on again. And yeah, it was great to hear from HHC. Exciting things ahead, it sounds like. So
yeah, for real. He was quiet for a good reason. That's the next stage of growth for the product. Let him cook.
Let him cook.
Yep.
So let's see.
Awesome.
We have a ORE challenge, Starship Fronk, on our little notes here. What is that, if I may dare ask?
So I think that's just a call to action. We were trying to push the hashtag #OwnOneORE. I think asking everybody in the audience, hey, I know everybody here already owns an ORE or more, or they're working on it, but I call to each one of you to go out there and try to get one person to start mining so they can get to that one ore, because it's going to take a community effort to really get the increased outreach that we really want. Because as much as a foundation is going to be able to market to get a lot of new users in, it's going to also take people who go out there and talk to their friends. I mean, if I didn't tell my mom about ORE, she wouldn't know, right? If I didn't tell my friends about ORE, they wouldn't know. Even if there were advertisements for it, they might not connect in the same way as if I talk to them and let them know what it is and how it works. So I'm just asking everybody out there, hey, talk to a family member, talk to a friend, let them know about what ORE is. Hey, maybe even give them $20 a Solana to get them started, just to get them on that mining adventure, and see if we can't get some more miners out there in the ORE community.
Bingo. Bingo. I got
Love
my
it.
guy. I got my Mr. Paul. Thanks if you're listening, Paul. Appreciate it. Keep mining. Yeah, absolutely. Get everybody you know
Paul.
mining. Yeah, hey, that's a Telegram handle, man. Like Brian. It's Paul. Paul, do good. Doing good, brother. Doing good. So yeah, guys, I think that kind of wraps it up. Hour and 30 minutes here. Whatever got cut off, I have a recording of Mr. Just Cup, so we'll get that figured out after the show. I appreciate everybody coming on. I'm glad to hear from HHC. Glad to be on with Mr. Starship Fronk here and TB and Just Cups. So guys, I hope you all have a super swell evening.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
You guys have a good night. This is Starship signing off.
And Brian. See y'all later.
Got it. Bye.
Bye bye.